The world is filled with many hardships: disease, hunger, poverty, hatred, war, and death. When these problems strike, people often lose hope and begin to ask why such suffering exists and where it comes from. Many try to understand its origin, and some even place the blame on God. In this video, however, we will explore together the true origin of evil and who is responsible for bringing it into the world. In this video, we will explore who Satan is, how Satan was created as the seal of perfection, what led to Satan's corruption, how he exalted himself to be like God, and finally, why God detests pride. Who Satan is. The red dragon, the devil, and Satan who deceives all humanity. The Bible identifies the one who brought evil as the devil, also called Satan. In Revelation chapter 12, we are told that he caused war in heaven. The angel Michael and his angels fought against him, and he was defeated and cast down to the earth. Revelation 12:9 describes him as the great red dragon, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the one who deceives the whole world. It also tells us that he was thrown down to the earth along with his angels. How Satan was created as the seal of perfection. The seal of perfection, a cherub who covers. Satan was originally an angel of God, created perfect. God himself described him as the seal of perfection. However, he later turned against God and became evil. In the book of Ezekiel, God tells the prophet Ezekiel to pronounce a warning against the king of Tyre. Yet when we closely examine how God describes this king, it becomes clear that he is not speaking of a mere human ruler, but of a supernatural being, a cherub who covers, a high-ranking angelic being. Let us read Ezekiel 28:12. Son of man, take up a lamentation for the king of Tyre, and say to him, Thus says the Lord God, you were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Ezekiel 28:14. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of fiery stones. What led to Satan's corruption? Satan was not always evil. He was created by God as a perfect angel, full of wisdom and beauty. God even described him as the seal of perfection. But over time, pride took root in his heart. He became obsessed with his own splendor, his brilliance and magnificent appearance, and this admiration for himself gradually corrupted his wisdom. He began to think he could be like God. The Bible also tells us that his downfall involved more than pride. Ezekiel describes his iniquities as being many, including trading and accumulating riches for himself. As he gained wealth and treasures, his heart was lifted up, and the riches slowly exalted him, a corruption that would later influence the way he tempted humans, including Jesus, offering worldly things in exchange for worship. Ultimately, his pride, self-exaltation, and desire for glory led to his complete downfall. Ezekiel paints a picture of a being who was once glorious, but defiled himself with a multitude of iniquities. The story reminds us how even a created being, given wisdom and beauty, can fall when he turns his focus from God to himself. Let us read verse 15 and 17. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created, till iniquity was found in you. Verse 17, your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I laid you before kings that they might gaze at you. Splendor means magnificent appearance, glory, brilliance, or radiance. The beauty that made this being admired and glorified. Verse 18, verse 4 and 5. That's where they talk about trading. You defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your trading. Therefore I brought fire from your midst, it devoured you, and I turned you to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all who saw you. Verse 4. With your wisdom and your understanding, you have gained riches for yourself, and gathered gold and silver into your treasuries. Verse 5. By your great wisdom in trade, you have increased your riches, and your heart is lifted up because of your riches. Gold and silver are valuable commodities, the foundation of money and wealth. Even today, some countries continue to store much of their wealth in gold and silver. How he exalted himself to be like God. Satan exalted himself and thought he was a god. Ezekiel 28:6. Therefore thus says the Lord God, because you have set your heart as the heart of a god. He repeats this claim 2 more times in Ezekiel 28:2 and Ezekiel 28:9. He also claimed to be like the Most High in Isaiah 14:14, where he said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. God detests pride. God does not tolerate anyone who lifts up their heart and thinks they are more important than others, because they will focus on their glory instead of their responsibilities. And this leads them to fail their job and mistreat people with injustice. When someone lifts up their heart in pride, they become unfit for the kingdom, any society, losing the qualities that allow people to live in harmony with others. Fun fact: what once corrupted Satan is now the very tool he uses to deceive others. He became proud because of his beauty, wisdom, and riches, the same things he now uses to lead people into sin. Those who possess these qualities or treasures are more likely to have their hearts lifted as well. This is the source of the hardships we see in the world: disease, hunger, poverty, hatred, war, death, and many more. They did not come from God, but from Satan, who corrupted himself from within. His pride, love of beauty, wisdom, and wealth led him into evil, and from there, that corruption spread to us, bringing sin and suffering into the world. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil.